Hello there, boxing fans around the world. Thanks for joining me once again here on Talkin Fight for another episode of Boxing News Today. Courtesy of our friends across the pond at boxing247.com, who we appreciate very much for doing this work for us so we don't have to, so we can relate it to you, so you don't have to. Let's start off with a quick little story out of Split Team Management, who are informing us that their fighters, Trinidad Vargas and Mary Spencer, scored big knockouts over the weekend. Vargas made a memorable pro debut by stopping Josh Aarons in round 2 of their scheduled 4-round super flyweight bout at the Osceola Heritage Park in Kissimmee, Florida. Vargas hurt Aarons with a hard right hand that was followed by 2 lefts that sent Aarons to the canvas, and the bout was stopped at 2 minutes and 31 seconds of that second round. Vargas, who turned 19 last week, started boxing at the age of 6 and his first fight at the age of 8. Congratulations to him. He has a slew of credentials behind his very young career, but nonetheless, looking forward to hearing more from him and the team management. Now we'll move along to Mary Spencer, a Canadian fighter in Montreal on last Thursday night. She stopped Chris Amos in the opening round of their 8-rounder. They're fighting in the junior middleweight division, by the way. Spencer, now fighting out of Montreal, was dominant as she scored an explosive stoppage for which she sent Namas down 3 times, and the bout was stopped at 1 minute 56 seconds. Spencer is now 6-0 with 4 knockouts. Namas out of Iroquois is 25-8. And Mary Spencer, by the way, is promoted by friends of ours, Eye of the Tiger Management, also out of Montreal. Speaking of female fighters, let's move along to Puerto Rico. Franchon Crews-Dezurn was left speechless when she received her special edition World Boxing Organization WBO title belt, recognizing her as the first undisputed female world champion in the history of super middleweight 168 pounds division. The title belt presentation was held at the Monterrey Boxing Academy in Bayamon. Veteran Puerto Rican amateur female standout Kania Tapia had this to say: "It is an honor to be witness of such a special day for Franchon and to be one of those asked to present the special belt to her. I have followed her career since she was an amateur. She deserves this recognition and much more. She is my friend and we've been through a lot together. She's a great human being and I'm so happy to have her here in my country. May God bless her." Peter Kahn, the manager of Crews-Dezurn, said, "Thanks to the WBO, its executive committee, and to all those who support female boxing. This sport has changed. We have seen Franchon become an undisputed champion. She is helping knock down the barriers to get better opportunities for women in sports, especially in boxing, just like Kania Tapia and Amanda Serrano have done as well. For me, it's an honor to work alongside Franchon. I've worked with so many boxers, but it's an absolute honor to work with her because she's a consummate professional inside and outside the ring. And the way she inspires others is incredible. She is the definition of a true champion." Franchon had this to say. I'm not kidding. This is what the first sentence reads. "This is wow." "I feel honored to be here in Puerto Rico. Thank you, Paco at Francesco Valcarel and the WBO for inviting me at this beautiful island. I want to continue inspiring women in boxing like Kania Tapia does in Puerto Rico because she truly is a great champion of amateur boxing and will also be one in professional boxing in the future. To be undisputed champion and to receive this title is a huge deal for me, my family, and my friends. It was a difficult process to get to where I am today. It took a lot of hard work, sacrifice, hard days and nights. I went through a lot, so being here today, helping to open doors and opportunities for other women is something very important to me. I also want to thank my manager, Peter Kahn, my team, my training club, Head Bangers Gym, and my husband. We are a team and we fight together. I'm proud to be the WBO champion, and every time I get in the ring, I will fight with all my heart." Fantastic stuff. Great. Absolutely fantastic. All right. Let's move along to the 2300 Arena down in Philadelphia for a fight that took place last Friday night, a result that we overlooked. Here we go. Cameron Crowell was very impressive in taking out Vincent Floyd in round 4 of their 6-round middleweight bout that topped an action-packed bout card in front of a very large audience at the 2300 Arena. This was a card that was promoted by RDR Promotions. And let's see what happened. Crawl out of Las Vegas and Floyd out of Philadelphia fought a nip and tuck battle that saw both fighters land flush throughout the bout. Crawl was able to surge ahead and drop Floyd twice with body shots, and the fight was stopped at 2 minutes and 51 seconds. Crawl is now 19, 22, and 3 with 6 knockouts, while Floyd is 4, 13, and 1. Edward Joe Cortez won a 6-round unanimous decision over Gourwar Karya in a super bantamweight bout. Cortez is out of Millville, New Jersey, and Karya is out of Philadelphia, sporting a 2-3 record. In what was the most anticipated battle of the night, saw Jabril Noble take out Nazir Mickens in round 2 of their 6-rounder in the super featherweight division. Both of them are Philly-based fighters. Noble was dominant and showed flashes of being one of Philadelphia's future prospects, and the bout was stopped at 2 minutes and 46 seconds, as I said, of round 2. So Noble is now 4-0, undefeated with 4 knockouts. Oficio Falcon remained undefeated with a 6-round stoppage over Kent Porter in the final round of their super featherweight fight. The fight was marred by Porter's complaining of repeated low blows. The punches looked to be on the belt line. Falcon was deducted a point. Porter stayed down for 5 minutes on 3 separate occasions. Finally, he was deemed unable to continue at 2 minutes and 26 seconds. Falcon, out of Bronx, New York, is now 7-0. Wow. Porter, however, out of St. Louis, Missouri, is 4-3. Tamir Smalls remains undefeated as well, with a vicious opening round stoppage over Roque Augustin-Yonko in a scheduled 6-rounder in the welterweight division. Rashan Adams stopped Nathan Benichu in their 4-rounder, again, super featherweight fight. Larry Friars defeated Michael Crane. Oh, nope, they fought to a draw in the junior welterweight division. Edwin Cortez remained undefeated with a 4-round unanimous decision over Juan Gutierrez in a super flyweight bout. Kyle Wiley made a successful pro debut, which we are anticipating, with a 4-round unanimous decision over Joshua Zimmerman in a lightweight bout. Raheem Cook took a 4-round unanimous decision over Anthony Young in a super flyweight bout as well. So RDR Promotion says they'll be back at the 2300 Arena on Saturday, July 9th. I probably have, oh yes, my very next story. On Saturday night, July 9th, RDR Promotions will be back at the 2300 Arena with a huge night of boxing that will be headlined by junior lightweight Edward Kid Vasquez taking on Jose Argel in a fight scheduled for 8 rounds. Vasquez, fighting out of Fort Worth, Texas, has a record 11-1 with 3 knockouts. Vasquez, also out of Fort Worth, is a 6-year professional who is already battle-tested. He's defeated Brandon Arvey, Brandon Cruz, and Aiden Ocho, as well as Irvin Gonzalez. His lone blemish came in his latest outing when he was on the wrong end of a very controversial split decision to undefeated former National Golden Gloves champ Raymond Ford back in February in Phoenix. Let's see who else is seeing action that night. Near Albright, taking on an opponent to be named later in the lightweight division. Damon Allen, 6-1-1 with 5 knockouts, fighting out of Philadelphia, takes on Oscar Bajas, Mexico, in a lightweight fight. Frankie Trader has an opponent to be named later in the super featherweight division. Rashim Brown, also out of Philadelphia, facing an opponent to be named later. DeAndre Putis, out of Columbia, South Carolina, takes on an opponent to be named later in the super welterweight bout. Eric Tyler Tucker, 7-0, 7 knockouts, out of Los Angeles, takes on an opponent to be named later in a welterweight fight, so we look forward to that result. Boima Karma, 2-1, out of Sharon Hill, Pennsylvania, fights Daniel Giles, out of Philadelphia, in a welterweight fight. Famous Wilson of Deer Park, New York, makes his pro debut in a middleweight bout. And Najim Johns, also out of Philadelphia, will make his pro debut in a super lightweight fight against an opponent named later. Tickets are already on sale, and I'm sure you can go to the 2300 Arena website to purchase them. Great stuff from RDR Promotions. All right, moving along to Bournemouth, England. I don't think we've had many stories out of Bournemouth, but here we go. Chris Billum-Smith is going toe-to-toe against Isaac Chamberlain on 30th of July. It says the summer just got hotter with Chris Smith facing top contender Isaac Chamberlain in a sizzling domestic showdown on Saturday, July 30th at the Bournemouth International Centre, live and exclusive on Sky Sports. Bournemouth star Billum Smith, 15-1-0, faces Flash Londoner Chamberlain, 14-1-0, in a real 50-50, hard-to-call clash that pits the third and fourth independently ranked British cruiserweight fighters against each other at the famous seaside venue. With the highly competitive domestic 200-pound division at its strongest in recent years, the winner can look forward to more big showdowns against British rivals, including the boxer stable Richard Riaporhe, Michael Lawal, and fast emerging Vidal Riley. Fighting under the alias The Gentleman, the 6'3" big-hitting Billum Smith is anything but, with 11 knockouts in 16 fights, and he has marked himself as one of the major threats in the division. And a victory against Chamberlain, they continue, could lead to a future blockbuster rematch against world-class Riaporhe, who is the only man to hold a victory over Billum Smith in July 2019. Good stuff. There's some excellent quotes. Please go along to boxing247.com to receive more information. All right, let's go over to LA. I believe Austin McBroom is going toe-to-toe against Angeles Gibb. Tickets are now on sale at Bash Boxing presents Social Gloves, No More Talk on Saturday, July 30th, headlined by the highly anticipated grudge match between international YouTube superstars Austin McBroom, go figure, of Los Angeles, California, and Angeles Gibb from the United Kingdom, taking place at the Crypto.com Arena. This is formerly the Staples Center in LA and broadcast globally on Social Gloves TV on a pay-per-view level. Co-featured is a Battle of LA between former Los Angeles Lakers star Nick Swaggy P. Young and hip-hop superstar Blueface. Sorry, never heard of him. Also just announced is a heavyweight exhibition battle between NFL All-Pro running back Le'Veon Bell and Adrian Peterson. Names I'm not familiar with, but I'll continue with this story. With an extraordinary and intense international build-up over the last 12 months, Austin McBroom and Angeles Gibb have agreed to settle their animosity once and for all in downtown Los Angeles in front of an expected massive crowd at the Crypto.com Arena. McBroom made his boxing debut in an exhibition bout at the first Social Gloves event, knocking out Bryce Hall on June 12, 2021. That took place at the Hard Rock Stadium in Miami, Florida. A native of Southern California, McBroom was heralded three-sport varsity athlete in basketball, baseball, and football at Campbell Hall High School in Studio City, California, helping lead the Vikings to their third state title in 4 years with backcourt mate and future NBA star Drew Holiday. He then starred in the backcourt for the Division I Eastern Washington University Eagles before embarking on a successful career as a YouTube creator. Gibb, meanwhile, holds a white-collar boxing record of 3-1 and is heading into the ring with McBroom following a dominant win over Taylor Holder. He made his professional boxing debut scoring Super Bowl weekend against Jake Paul. What? He made his professional boxing debut during Super Bowl weekend against Jake Paul on January 30, 2020 in Miami, Florida. The 6-round professional bout against McBroom will be contested at a weight limit of 180 pounds. Since retiring in 2018, Young has used his boxing training to stay in shape, having recently increased his training ahead of his debut. Young started for the Los Angeles Lakers from 2013 to 2017. He was a first-round draft pick following 3-star making seasons at the University of Southern California, including 2 first-team All-Pac-10 listings. Born and raised in Los Angeles, Young attended Grover Cleveland High School in Reseda, California, with the team finishing 25-4 in his senior year. So he's obviously quite an athlete, but is he a boxer? We'll find out. There's much more information regarding these fellas. Let's see if there's any young ladies. Oh, look at that, there are. Competing for the women's WBA NABA welterweight title, undefeated prospect Summer Lynn, 7-0, 3 knockouts of Chicago, Illinois, battles Crystal Morales, 9-11, 2 knockouts at Oxnard, California. The 21-year-old Lynn kicked off her 2022 campaign with a shutout 6-round unanimous decision over Jacob Pabilis on April 2nd in Pomona, California. Morales looks to return to the Boom Call following a hotly contested world title fight with Beatriz Aguilar in Magdalena, Mexico. Good stuff. All right. Oh, I see. So they've got some YouTube creators fighting, but headlining the professional boxing undercard is world-ranked super middleweight contender Ali Akhmedov, 18-1, by the way, out of Kazakhstan. Doesn't really say who he'll be facing. In an 8-round super middleweight scrap, fast-rising prospect Champ Killick, 16-1, out of Sherman Oaks, California. His opponent will be named forthcoming. In the light heavyweight division, Freddie Roach trained Marco Deckman, who's 9-1, out of Hollywood, faces off against Detroit, Michigan's James Ballard, 10-4, in a scheduled 6-rounder. A native of Germany, the hard-hitting Deckman is a 6-bout winning streak, 4 victories come by stoppage, 3 in the last round. Newcomers will see action 4-round junior welterweight bout as Taden the Heat Beltran, 3-0-1, out of Huntington Beach, California, battles MMA veteran and pro debut boxer Benji Gomez out of Oxnard, California. In the lightweight division, Case Radcliffe, 2-0-1, out of Reseda, California, clashes with Christian Rentiera, 9-12, out of Tijuana, Mexico. Rounding out the card in a 4-round featherweight bout, Joshua Garcia, 4-0, undefeated, will face an opponent to be announced later. So there you go. That's for a fight taking place on the 30th of July at the Crypto.com Arena in Los Angeles. And as I said, it features, as the headliners are, McBroom versus Gibb. Looking forward to that result. All right, here we go. Over to Birmingham, England. We're going to see Andrew Robinson with an opponent to be announced later. This will be taking place at the Edgbaston, I believe it's a hotel. Andrew Robinson will be looking to the sky and not the corner on fight night, a contest dedicated to his late father's memory. Emotions will charge him when he's part of a BCB Promotions next offering at the H Suite in Edgbaston, Birmingham, and that'll take place on Sunday afternoon, July 10th. Robinson is back in action for the first time since April, when he was outpointed by Jamie Andonak in Poland in his latest and most probably last installment of their long-running feud. But the disappointment of that setback paled in comparison to the events of June 23rd, when his dad, Owen Robinson, passed away. He gamely battled on through his training camp, and the 37-year-old veteran is in a reflective mood after passing the milestone of 10 years as a pro just a day before the sad news. It's 20 years since he first took up the sport, going on to forge an amateur career with the Lions Boxing Club in Dudley, amassing 30 bouts with 25 wins to show for it. Robinson, who lives in Redditch but was born in Hay Mills, Birmingham, has gone further in the pro ranks with the clash against Jonak representing his 34th paid bout. Good for him. He has challenged, by the way, for English, British, WBO, European, and WBC international titles, although on a losing end against a host of formidable opponents. Fair enough. So we look forward to seeing him in the squared circle, and as I said, with an opponent to be named later. Finally, I just wanted to relay some news out of the Eddie Hearn camp. And this is in regard to the Artur Beterbiev versus Dmitry Bivol anticipated fight. It's not been announced. I don't think it'll happen yet, because I do believe we're going to have Anthony Yard. Anyway, let's have a quick read here of what Eddie Hearn says. Promoter Eddie Hearn says he's open to the idea of letting WBA light heavyweight champ Dmitry Bivol battle IBF WBC WBO champ Artur Beterbiev for the undisputed clash on ESPN. Hearn said that Beterbiev's promoter Bob Arum was jumping the gun by assuming that he would attempt to make a fight with Bivol, who's 20-0 with 11 knockouts on DAZN. He just wants to make the fight, and he's willing to have it take place on ESPN. Hearn suspects that Arum's true reason for not wanting to make the Beterbiev-Bivol fight is that he's not confident that his fighter, Beterbiev, 18-0, with 18 knockouts, can win. So instead of Arum making the fight with Bivol, He's planning on matching him against #1 WBO contender Anthony Yarde in October. Hearn says Beterbiev versus Yarde is a huge mismatch, and fans see it the same way. Yarde is a domestic level fighter who fell apart and was knocked out in his only fight against a true top tier guy in Sergey Kovalev back in 2019. I think Beterbiev is an easier fight for Canelo Alvarez than Bivol, said Eddie Hearn. Styles make fights. In hindsight, you see the fight and you actually say, yeah, Bivol beats Beterbiev. Fight fans can't get conned by coming out after a fight saying, we wouldn't do the fight in the dark zone, or whatever Bob Arum was saying. There's a reason he's saying that. We don't have to do the fight on DAZN. We can do it on ESPN, or we'll go in a room, me and Bob, with an envelope, and we'll open them up and see who bids the most money for that fight between Bivol and Beterbiev. What they, Top Rank, are trying to do is put everybody off from the fight not happening because they'll want to do it on their platform. It's ridiculous. Why aren't they talking about the undisputed fight? Bivol doesn't have a fight scheduled. We can do it. That's Beterbiev versus Bivol on DAZN pay-per-view. The first thing out of the bat is he says that, by the way, we can do it on ESPN. There's no offer, and they're not talking about it. Nice guy, and he's from London, but that's a mismatch, Hearn said about Beterbiev versus Anthony Yarde. That's a total mismatch. Yarde hasn't boxed, haven't done 3 rounds in 18 months or whatever. He's a good domestic fighter, and he's had a good fight with Kovalev in Russia, but Beterbiev is a different animal. This is an undisputed fight between Beterbiev and Bivol. We can make that fight easy, and if we don't make that fight, it's good news for our stable, Joshua Buatsi, Callum Smith, who will probably get the voluntary defense, but then he, Bivol, is going to fight Canelo Alvarez. So now the chance to make the undisputed fight with Beterbiev. Sometimes people don't press him, Arum, that is, and the media get a little conned by it as well. No one is saying, Bob, why don't you just go straight into the Bivol fight? He hasn't got a fight. There's real momentum going to make the undisputed champion, says Hearn. Charlo has just done it. Devin Haney's done it. And in women's boxing, we have 5 or 6 undisputed champions. It's so good for the sport. How good is Beterbiev against Bivol? I know they're 2 fighters, but they're 2 fighters that have fought over here. Bivol's coming off a massive win, and Beterbiev is a beast. But at their top, they're not talking about it. We're not doing it on DAZN. We haven't even had a conversation. They, Top Rank, want to do the Yarde fight for Beterbiev. Frank Warren and Bob Arum have closed, and it does business sense for them, said Hearn. All right, so there you go. Eddie Hearn giving his comments on what should be happening in boxing. Thank you for joining me here on Talkin' Fight. Appreciate it. Remember to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. We'll see you later on at 4 p.m. Eastern Time for Knuckle Up featuring Mike Gore at 4 and Cedric Ben in the Den.